Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. My name is Colleen Hammond. I'm a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, turned executive image consultant, coach, and mentor. In 30 days or less, I teach women how to take the guessing out of dressing because, yep, people do judge you in the blink of an eye. So, hey, might as well look good. Today we're talking about how to get more done. And it's not about coffee, but I just started my coffee. I haven't had a lot of it yet today, so I just want to get some ideas going for you so that you can kind of organize your life and get things on track and get a lot more accomplished because I know we're all busy. So I appreciate the time that you're giving me here this morning. I know live we've got Joanne and Beth and oops, wait a minute, it's not scanning down. I know Sarah's here, Patty's here, Amy, Kathy, Natasha, Mukesh, Liz, Sarah. Hey, where's my sisters? I don't see my sisters here yet. So Victoria, Patricia, it's so good to see my family here this morning. It's nice to have everybody in attendance. So we're going to talk about how to get more done. So if you are watching this on my business page, on my Facebook Live page, click, or not click, that's for YouTube. Make a comment if you want the copy of today's notes. Put me in the comments below, and you know the drill. Check your Facebook Messenger account, and you will get a note from me. Actually, it's kind of a note from me, but it's automated, and it'll tell you what to do. So just reply to that message in your Facebook Messenger, and you can get the copy of today's notes. If you're watching this on YouTube or my blog or on LinkedIn or in any place else, there will be a link associated with this video that will take you to my Facebook Messenger account and just ask me for the notes for how to get more, five ways to get more done. And good morning, Fiona. I will send you those within Facebook Messenger. So let's talk about getting more done. The first way to get more done is you got to know why you're doing what you're doing. Before you start doing anything, ask yourself, why am I doing this? And does it fit with your non-negotiables? Does it fit with your core beliefs and values? Does it fit with your priorities? Is it a priority in your life where it is important and urgent? So remember, we've talked about the quadrants before. So does it fit in that important and urgent quadrant? So ask yourself why. If it's because, until you get a really good answer, because if the answer is things like, well, my boyfriend wants me to do it, so I feel like I've got to, or because I'd really feel guilty. Now, remember yesterday we talked about, well, we talked about it yesterday, but it won't be in order if you're on Facebook, or I'm sorry, if you're on YouTube. Go to the how to have more energy. It was part 5 on, and looking at that one. But this is part of what we talked about yesterday, and it kind of feeds into this. We can't be bending our activities and our needs to the needs of others. What's important to us, what fits our beliefs, our values, our non-negotiables. So dig down first and foremost and ask yourself why. And if it doesn't align, if it's not important and urgent, then it needs to be shelved. I give you permission to procrastinate. This is good procrastination. And if it doesn't align with your non-negotiables, it needs to go. But if it's not important and urgent, then it needs to be reprioritized and procrastinate it to the appropriate time and get done right now what needs to be done, what's important and what's urgent. Because oftentimes the important and urgent stuff is the, the ugly stuff, the, oh, this is so hard to do and this is going to be a pain in the butt. And I haven't wanted to clean this closet in years and now it's so out of control, right? So those are the things that really need to be attacked. Good morning, Judy. Number 2, get in the habit of saying no. Warren Buffett, this is a quote from Warren Buffett. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that the very successful people say no to almost everything. They have their priorities in order. They know the important and the urgent. They know the important and the not urgent. So they have a priority list in their life and they learn to say no. Because you can always go back and say yes later. That's easier to go back and say, you know what, I've reconsidered to have an opening in my calendar now. I'd love to help out. Isn't that easier to do, right? Isn't it easier to say no up front and then go, maybe I can, and go back and say, okay, yes, I've thought about it and I do have time, or I've had a cancellation or something else, my calendar's opened, or, something like that. So it's easier to say no first and then reconsider and go back than it is to say yes. Well, now you have to, now they're counting on you. Now you feel guilty. Now you feel like if you go back, you're going to look bad or, so it's easier really to say no first and then go back and say yes later. Successful people know themselves well. Yeah, and they really do. That's that self-awareness again, right? That gets back to the emotional intelligence. bit.ly/EQ series if you're not involved with that yet. So don't have the disease to please. And many of us, especially moms and women, seem to have more because women are more receptive and they're more of the caretaker type. It comes with the estrogen, right? It just comes with the biochemical makeup of who we are, is we tend to be more nurturing. So we want to help people and we want to reach out, where men are more of, you know what? I am not going to intrude in somebody else's life. If they want help, they'll ask me and then I'll help. Women are more like, oh my goodness, they need help. I'll dive in, and we might not be wanted there. Might not be a good thing to join in. Good morning, Lori. So get in the habit of saying no first. Hey, Kim, good to see you. So get in the habit of saying no first, because you can always go back and say yes later, right? So what happens if you've said no? Now, or you've said yes rather, and you find out you really don't have time? There are ways to go back, and we talk about this, I forget one of my courses, I forget which one it's in, but how to go back and say, back out gracefully. And basically what you're going to do is say, you know what? When I committed to this, I thought my calendar was clear. And now that I go back and I look at things, I don't have quality time to devote to this project. I think it would be better for everybody concerned if I step away, because I'm not going to be able to do a quality job because I just don't have the time. I'm so sorry that I committed early without consulting my calendar. Remember we talked about yesterday on your calendar, just blame it on your calendar, right? If you have your calendar full, read a book, take a bath, get your nails done, take your children, tuck your children in bed. If you have all those things on your calendar, you're not lying when you say my calendar's full. So don't feel bad about that. So never lie, they will always remember. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can go back. If you have committed and you really don't have the time, you're not going to be able to do a quality job for them. So you can go back and say, I'm sorry, I did commit up early. So, all right. So that's if you've said yes and you need to go back and say no. But how do you say no gracefully? It's called a yes, no, yes. So it's kind of what I talk about, the Oreo cookie method, when you're going to give oh, thank you, Patty. She says, I love the simplicity of your advice, honesty and making adjustments. Honesty is always the best policy. The yes, no, yes is where you can go back and, for example, say, people constantly, I get notes all the time. I would love to take you out to lunch. I would love to invite you to coffee. I'd love to pick your brain. At least some of those people are honest about it. And I don't have time to sit down with every single solitary person. I would love to. I just don't have the time. And people were like, I want to get on the phone. I want to eat. I don't have the time. So, you can use that type of yes, no, yes. So it's same with the Oreo cookie. If you're going to give constructive criticism, compliment, constructive criticism, compliment, right? You sandwich your criticism between two compliments. It's the same thing with a yes, no, yes. So somebody who comes to me and says, oh, I'd love to get together with you for a cup of coffee. And, what's your time schedule? And we should write me, oh my goodness. So congratulations on, because, I was just promoted and I would like to pick your brain about how to take it to the next level. Congratulations on your promotion. There's your yes. Unfortunately, due to existing commitments, I just can't get together with you right now. But here is somebody you can talk to. Here's a book you can read. Here's a book that I read that was very helpful for me taking the next step. Here's the, so it's a yes, which is a congratulatory, something that way. Declining the offer. I'm sorry, I can't do that right now, but here's some other help. I'm not going to leave you in the lynch. I'm honored that you came to me and asked me for my advice. I'm blessed that you want to get together with me for a cup of coffee. We get to have coffee with you every morning. Ta-da! So you're doing a yes, no, yes. All right. So number 3, the way you can get more done is make it a game. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? And if you're in the emotional intelligence course, I just uploaded two new videos into the bonus area, and one of them is on flow. And basically, flow is can best be described that when you're doing something you absolutely love and you totally lose track of time, and then you go, "Oh my gosh, it's been 8 hours. I haven't eaten. I haven't slept." I go, "Oh, where'd the time go? I had so much fun." If you can give that type of energy into the things you don't necessarily like doing and make it fun and make it flow and make it enjoyable, the time flies, you get things, you got to do it anyway. Might as well make a game out of it, right? So there's always a way that you can do that. And not only that, when you're feeling negative, when you're feeling, gosh, I just realized a window was open that could be interfering. I'm sorry, I had to close the program. Um, when you're negative, when you don't like what you're doing, what it does is it sends out, because all your thoughts and your emotions are chemical reactions in your body. So when you're having negative thoughts, it's releasing these chemical components that block your creativity. They block your ability to problem solve. So if you can, take a pen or a pencil, put it in your mouth for a couple of minutes. That smile will activate these glands in your face and in your body and release the positive chemicals to at least get those types of chemicals going. So getting more done, have fun with it, and make it a good time, because you can always make it a good time. Good morning, Colleen and the Cool Coffee crew. Oh, I love that, Vicky. That's so good. Sarah says, you always give me courage to be honest, even when I have to say no. Yeah, honesty is the best policy, right? Saying no is sometimes difficult, but you just got to do it. You got to be honest with people, because in the long run, you end up letting them down. It's not worth it. Number 4, speaking of down, have your downtime, increase downtime. And we're talking about filling up your calendar. Put your recreation time on your calendar. When it's on your calendar, it'll get done. If it's in your head, it's not going to get done. It's just a dream. But when it's on your calendar, it's a project. So recreation time, not problem solving, recreation time, refueling time. You can't pour from an empty cup. So what do you do? Remember how I said yesterday, make a list. Did you do that yesterday? Did you make a list of self-care? Did you write down on a piece of paper? Oh, you didn't do your homework. Write down on a piece of paper what brings you joy. And so I did it yesterday. I actually did my own homework. And you know what I had forgotten? I love to do silk ribbon embroidery. I've done crocheting and knitting and that type of thing. I love silk ribbon embroidery. And I did it on my girls' clothes when they were younger. So they have these beautiful embroidery with the silk ribbon on their clothing, which, will not be donated to Goodwill. But actually, a couple of them actually ended up going to Goodwill by accident. So somebody's walking around with my beautiful silk ribbon embroidery designs. That brings me peace. It brings me, because I can create something that's beautiful. So that's on my list for self-care, because it makes me feel good. Hey, good morning, Alto Bees. How's my unicorn? I miss you, girl. Hey, Sherry. Prayers for Lisa. Oh, Sherry's already putting in prayer requests. I guess you got to come and go really quick. That's so funny. Yes, you have to have. Hope to send the last one to the breeding shed tomorrow. Yay! How many foals have you had this year? So get your downtime your downtime down on your calendar, and get that balance back in your life. We have the need to create. It's part of the human condition. We love to create new things. And when you lose that, you kind of feel like a donut hole. There's kind of something missing and you're not quite sure what it is. The rest of the donut's all pretty and decorated, right? But there's just kind of something missing. And that could be, if everything else is in line, if your spiritual life is in order and everything else is going, maybe you need something to create. So knitting, sewing, I love to sew. something like that. So get all of your self-care items down. Do you want to go get your nails done? Do you want to have a massage? Do you want to just read a book? Do you, I'm going to a wine tasting on Friday, and I haven't been to a wine tasting in a very long time. And I can only do kind of little tiny little sips. I can't even drink a full glass of wine, but it just tiny little sips because I love good wine. I love learning about wine. So Total Wine and More is having a wine class on Friday, and I'm going to that. That's going to be my recreation, my self-care time. So get it down on your calendar. And number 5, the number fifth way to get more done, find out your golden hours. What are your golden hours? What time of the day, afternoon, evening, do you function the best? Where do you have the more energy? And, of course, I've talked about it in the free ebook on how to get more done, how to have more willpower and get more done. bit.ly/more willpower for that free ebook. Are you a morning person, an afternoon person? Where are you the most focused and effective? That's when you have to do all your eat the frog type things. That's where you do all the really important stuff that needs your best. And I know when I was homeschooling our children, I'm very much a morning person. So I get more done before 11 o'clock. And then after that, I'm kind of, so that's when I do the errands, the doctor's appointments, the running around and that type of thing. But my morning hours are golden. And that's where I get my writing done. That's where I get my creativity done. And then I'm pretty much dead for the whole day. And then I have like this spark between around 8 and 9 at night. And I get all these ideas and things are going on. And then I do my meditation and I clear my mind and then I can go to sleep. So when are you the most productive? Are you a morning person? Are you an afternoon person? Are you an evening person? Where do you feel the most focused? Where do you have the most energy? That's where you schedule the important things to be done. And remember, it could be only 2 to 3 hours a day. That's what it is normally for people. There's usually 2 to 3 hours a day where you are at your best. So make sure you schedule those important things during those times and then scoot out all the other stuff, the housework or running around or whatever it is that you're doing in your life. Push it out into the other hours of the day. All right. So those are your 5 ways to get more done. Number 1, find out why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And if it's not urgent and important, and if it doesn't align with your non-negotiables, your values and beliefs, don't do it. Number 2, if you're not going to do it, learn to say no. Learn to say no gracefully. Do the yes, no, yes method. Say no first. You can always go back and say yes later. Number 3, make it fun. Make it into a game. Make it enjoyable. Make it something that you really look forward to doing and like, oh, this is so fun. I've never scrubbed toilets this good before in my life. And then hire a maid. Find out, number 4 is your downtime. Make sure you have that recreation time. You have to have time to refuel yourself. The self-care moments. Self-care is not selfish. And we're not talking necessarily about indulgences, just health, diet, exercise. Take care of yourself and make sure you have time away. This is really important for my friends who are self-employed, entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, authorpreneurs, that we would rather work 80 hours a week for ourselves than 40 hours a week for somebody else. But you don't have to. If you're using your time wisely and using your brain power during the portions of the day when you're most effective, you can be working a 4-hour work week. See Tim Ferriss. And number 5, that's the same thing, is finding out when your golden hours are. So hopefully this information was helpful for you. If it was, please feel free to share. If you are watching on Facebook, make sure if you do want the copies from today, the notes from today's show, just comment me in the comments section below. Then I will send you a Facebook message. So check your messages and follow the directions that are in there because they don't automatically get sent. You got to follow the directions. And a lot of people will comment me and then they don't check their Facebook Messenger and then they email me and say, you didn't email me the notes. It doesn't come in email. It comes in Facebook Messenger. So hotspots are 8 and 11 and 4 to 7. Ooh, 4 to 7. I'm so down between 4 and 7. So, hey, there's Donna. Hi, Donna. Are you a friend of Vicky's? That's so nice. LTV. So Fiona says, I have days like that. Night owl, says Amy. Most productive after dinner. Dishy Donna. Ooh, I like that, Vicky. Vicky's a night owl, which is why she's here from Australia. And it's what, going on midnight for you. I think my inner clock stopped, says Fiona. Vital to know your inner clock. Yeah, it's knowing your biorhythms and paying attention. Again, it says emotional intelligence, bit.ly, EQ series. Get more information on learning that emotional intelligence. I think you're in that course. Amy says, favorite hobby is gardening. No sitting still with that. It's mornings for me. I get up at 4:45. I get a ton done. Yeah, I'm a 4:30 person. So, yep, 4:30, and then I get so much done. Well, I do all my self-care first, and then after that, then that's normally right around 6 o'clock. And then I start doing my work, and then I pump, hop on here around 7:30. I come in here, sit down, start getting this all set up. Then I do the show 8 to 9. Then I have a few things that I do, which I'm trying to hire out. So Deidre, if you're still here, I need you to send me some samples of your work. Beth says, energy in the morning, useless after lunch. I kind of hit the skids at 11 a.m., 11:30 usually. 11 I start, and then 11:30 I'm pretty much done. But again, I'm up at 4:30. Listening in the kitchen this morning, says Beth. You're making my daughter smile. Aw, oldest daughter just asked me where you live. She's hinting a road trip. We are not that far away, Beth. We really do need to see each other more. Maybe we can meet in Houston. I have a lot of friends in Houston. I need a hobby, but I can't sit for very long. See, I'm the same way. And that's why people say, oh my gosh, you look so young. You know why? Well, first of all, it's good genetics. I get that good Irish genetics. But second of all, I am so type A, I cannot sit still. So while everybody in high school was out baking in the sun, like rubbing Crisco on their bodies to bake in the sun, I would go out for 5 minutes. I'm like, I can't sit still this long. I just couldn't do it. So that was my, that's why. If it's not on your calendar, you're probably not going to do it. That's so true. It's so true. You have to see it. It has to be scheduled. Wine tasting sounds fun. I love wine tastings, Altavis. Rick says creating. Another reason to use a real computer instead of a phone. You can be more creative on a big computer. I was doing talking to Ezra Firestone. I think his name is Ezra. Oh, God. That's horrible because he's like amazing. Anyway, but he was telling me that most people you'll start a conversation. I think it's like 65% of people, Eltovish, you'll be interested in this, and Vicky and Donna, anybody who's self-employed, you will start, and Joanne and Fiona, all of you. Anyway, 65% of people will start something on their phone and they will finish the sale or the transaction on a desktop. So 65% of people start it on their phones and then they move over to their computers. So when it comes to Facebook message ads and targeting and that type of thing, you have two different targets. You have a mobile target and you have a desktop target. They're two different clients, if you will. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, that's something I learned. I was talking to him the other day. Just, reach out to these people. They're more than willing to talk. We'll watch the replay. Love donuts, Sherry. Five fulls. I think I caught up on all those. Okay, so good. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I was a morning pornist, but since I had children, I wake up at 6, and now I'm starting to feel awake, but it's taken a while. Yeah. What time do I go to bed? I go to bed at 9 or 9:30, and then I read because I'm pretty much on a device. And you really have to get off all of your devices an hour, preferably 2 hours before you try to fall asleep. So I will go to bed around 9 and then I read books, like real books, not Kindles. I read hard copy books. Kind of reading through this one right now because I need to have Carolyn on the show. Because Carolyn sent me a copy, Gravitate to Gratitude, and I haven't had her on the show yet. We're having those technical problems with Zoom. And then, so I'm trying to get more sleep. So it's definitely lights out at 10. And if I've had a long day, sometimes I'll fall asleep and the book hits me in the face around 9:30. So self-care is not selfish, says Donna. What's with the Aussies with the hashtags? I love this. Or is it just you and Vicky? Hey, Mary Therese, I didn't see you come in. 4 to 7 p.m. I pray, stay with me, Lord. It's almost evening. Sustain me. Yeah, I know. Donna's the early bird too. Always give us hope and inspiration. Thank you, said Kim. Oh, that means so much to me. Thank you, Kim. Brilliant as always, Colleen says supportive spouses. So yeah, fun is so fun. It really is. And like I was talking about yesterday, when we're talking about laughter, the best way, and again, if you're watching the replay, this is part 5 of the How to Have More Energy, was yesterday's talk. But we talked about yesterday how to bind a relationship. The best way to bind or improve either a new relationship or an existing relationship is, anybody remember? Laughter. Laughter will bind two people together more. You know how they say if you go through a crisis that brings your relationship closer? Yeah, that's true. But that's a different type. You know, it's almost like a negative bonding. So what we're talking about is positive bonding, and laughter is something that will bring two strangers together or two people. Oh, that reminds me. I saw this on Fast Company because my cousin posted it, and she's like this big ad exec in New York and stuff. It was a Heineken commercial. It wasn't even a commercial. It's one of those 3-minute things. But it was taking two people from extremely different sides of this a viewpoint. So there's this one guy who couldn't stand transgendered people, and they put him in a room with a transgendered person. Then there was a person, a feminist, and then somebody who couldn't stand feminists. And then there was like a Republican and a Democrat. Then there was so they took two people from differing, totally opposite points of view. They put them in a room together, and they had them working together on a project. So they were like, hey, nice to meet you. And we're given this project, and they were given a piece of paper and a list of things to do. And they worked on this project together, and they sat and they had fun and they talked and that kind of stuff. And then they would sit them down, and they had these specific things they had to do. And the very last thing, they go, oh my gosh, we built a bar. I think it was a Heineken commercial, right? And the last thing they had to do was take these 2 Heineken bottles out of the fridge and put them on these specific little circles on the bar. And then they sat down and they were like, now what do we do? I don't know. And then there was like this TV screen that popped on, and it showed their pre-interviews. And the one that really stood out for me was the transgendered person. And there was a man who just like couldn't stand transgendered and the whole idea and all that kind of stuff. And this is not a political statement or anything. It was just an interesting ad. And they showed his video, and here this person sits who just had, it's a sex change from a man to a woman, right? And then they show hers about being, or his, about being transgendered. And they kind of sat there and looked, and then it popped up on the screen. Now the choice is yours. You can either stay here, open the beer, and sit and talk, or you can leave. And the transgendered person reached up and grabbed the bottle opener because they had had such a good time working together, right? And popped open the bottle, and the man stands up and walks out of the room. And it was like, oh my gosh. And then he turned and he came back and he goes, I'm only kidding, popped open the thing. And he goes, you're really cool. I really like you. And maybe I didn't misunderstood. Please explain more to me. So it was a really, really powerful ad. I guess Pepsi had tried to do something like that, but anyway. Mix it up all the time. Total bouncer. Inspiring as always, said Natasha. Thank you. So anyway, let's throw in our prayer requests. Lori can't stand taking baths. Oh, my knitting projects are half done. I even pay so I tell my kids to do their schoolwork. I often start an image code on my MacBook and finish on my phone. Interesting, Vicky. That's just the opposite. I'll start things on my phone. Good tip. Are you live on Facebook and another right now at the same time? Just live on Facebook right now. I'm going to be using Joycaster to try broadcast. I just don't have the bandwidth to do that right now. It always freezes up on me. So no, it has not. The DVDs have not arrived yet, Vicky. Laughter is a love lifter. Yay, I like that. That's really cool. Donna says, hey, I wrote the book about dating. Got to do another. We'll add the importance of laughter. Awesome. I have to have you on the show too. Lori says the dogs wake her up at 6:30. Takes a while to launch. If I wake up on my own, I get rolling faster. And morning person, no energy after lunch. And then I'm off and running again until dinner. Yep. Patty says, with my empty nest, I have made a concerted effort to get more sleep each night. Good for you. Husband gets up early around 4:30, 8 hours. Doesn't always work. Very long note. Reprioritize. Yeah. Yeah. It's really... Well, it was a political thing, but I liked it from the point of view of that when people share time together, they bond in a specific way. So there's so many different, they did so many different sides of the story, and everything they showed made everybody look good. It wasn't like they politicized it in any way. It was just two sides of all these different issues, and everybody was made to look very nice, very kind, very normal, very compliant. But I just find it interesting when you take people and put them together in different situations, what happens in that group dynamic. So I look at it more from a psychological point of view. I'll let you know for sure, Vicky, when it arrives. It was probably faked. Could have been. Good inclusion message. The beer commercial. Yeah, and it's a Heineken commercial. They built a bar and they had a beer. Her dating book is brilliant. I have a daughter that's dating right now, so Lisa's sometimes here in the morning too, and she's got her Facebook page is the Dating Diva, I think. So she's sometimes here in the mornings. So anyway, so let's pop in those prayer requests, and I'm going to dig up and try to find that Heineken commercial thingy, because I did find it very, very interesting. And again, if you do want, let me see if I've got, no, I don't. If you do want the notes from today and you are watching on Facebook Live, make sure you comment me in the comment section below, and then check your Facebook Messenger and follow the directions there. So let me pull up the prayer requests because there were a few new ones. And I pulled up the wrong page. Oh, my daughters were concerned that she ran out of gas. All I saw was gas, and I thought, oh my gosh, she ran out of gas. I was ignoring her text message. But she didn't. She just said, I don't think I have enough gas to get home. That's big difference between I ran out of the gas and I'm sitting at the side of the road. So I know we're praying for my sister Sherry's friend, Lisa. Liz says for all who are suffering with their illnesses. Lori says prayers for Erin, her 10-year-old granddaughter, and her dad, who is Lori's son. Thanks for the talk, says Victoria. You're very, very welcome. Wrong click. For CA. Oh! Whoa! Just saw saw a note that I didn't see before. Somebody volunteering to work for me. App development. Love it. For TL, for her family. For SB, for a private intention. For MB, for her nephew, who was just in a motorcycle accident a few hours ago. He just came out of surgery. They placed a rod in his leg and his bones were shattered. And MB also just came out of the emergency room herself, and might need some neurological. Wow. So very, very, wow, lots of prayers for MB and for ED for a special intention. And for all the other people that we prayed for yesterday. I'm not going to repeat everybody because there was a very, very long list on my private list, but God knows the intentions that are in their hearts. Amy says prayers for Mark and Jan, who are dealing with issues due to illness. Liz, all for who are suffering with illness. Patty for grateful sunshine. Yay, and a forecast with no rain after many days of cold and damp. That kind of makes I can feel the storms moving in. My bones are aching. Prayers for my nephew, conversion, financial need. Prayers for cousins and health, for transplant. Fiona in Thanksgiving for prayers answered. Praise God. And positively for the family, asking for continued prayers and more updates. Alrighty. And of course, supported spouses shared. Thank you for sharing. Kind of did more of a conversational one this morning because I miss doing the conversational ones. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day too, and she said, and she's a teacher. Andrea. I don't know if Andrea's here this morning. I didn't see her. I was talking to Andrea the other day, and she said, yeah, she goes, as a teacher, I don't like the TV show format where you just like present all the information and then it's a recording. And I said, well, and I said, you talking about my show? And she went, no, So I thought about what we talked about yesterday, right? Where it was like, when you imprint your ideas on other people, it's like, oops, you're projecting. Um, but she said, no, but that, as a teacher, I want to teach people and ask questions and that kind of stuff. And I went, well, yeah, but, you can reach more people with a television format and blah, 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 blah. But I do miss engaging in conversations with everybody. So shared with six. Thank you. Love you. Thank you. Self-care day today. Amen. Love hanging out with Colleen's coffee crew. We are a family. So anyway, so I am going to have got some important things I have to run off and do again this morning with the identity theft, because I was refunding the money and then they took the money away, and it's like, come on, people. So now I have to meet with an attorney this morning because apparently things were not going as planned. So be that as it may, it will shortly be over. So let me double check over here, make sure nobody emailed me anything, and they did not. Few days of focused and few engaging. Yeah. That's trying to bounce it back and forth. Thanks for a great show, said Sarah. You're very, very welcome. Love to have a chat. We will soon, Vicky. I promise. I gotta get this stuff out of the way. Can't tell you how much I love getting to be here every morning. Oh, and I love having you here, Fiona. And you didn't share your good news on Thanksgiving. Private message. Please do, Donna. I will check, because if we're not friends, do it on my well, if you comment me below, then that puts you in my Facebook Messenger, or but do it on this page, and that's easier for me to track, because now on my personal page, and not only do I have 5,000 close personal friends, I think I have 6,000 followers, so there's 11,000 people on my personal page that have access to me, and I get on my personal page, I get hundreds of private messages a day that I can't even sort through. I just don't. I keep a couple of tabs open of conversations that I have regularly going with people on my personal page, but other than that, it's easier to sort and tag and that type of thing on my business page. So contact me here, and that'll be better for me. Until people figure that out, and then everybody will be contacting me on my business page. Have a grand day, everyone. Love and hugs and prayers from Lori. I only like to watch this live. I never watch the recording. Yeah, a lot of people are that way too. So keeping you in prayers, Colleen. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. So the update was a CPS visit went well for the family. Yeah, they were impressed. Yay! I'm so happy. So happy. Yeah, because I know that's been weighing on your heart. So happy to have lifted that. All right, I'm going to head out of here because I've got a few minutes to get ready, and then I have to head out the door. So have an amazing day, and we will be back at it again. Let me see, tomorrow morning. Let me double check here. Oh, let me go to the title slide because I want to make sure that it has something to look at. All right, take care. God bless you. Love you. Thanks for being here this morning. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.